Hey everyone, Larissa here from Forest Lane Fiber Company. I wanted to give everybody an overview of what's in my shop. I haven't super duper introduced myself on my YouTube channel yet because I'm not really here to be a podcaster necessarily. I just really want to show you what I'm working with, but I do have a shop where you can buy stuff. So I'm just going to go over what it is that I sell and what I do. So the biggest, shortest way to say what I do is I'm a yarn dyer and I dye non-superwash yarn. But for the rest of what I'm going to say, I'll explain what else goes into it all. So all of my yarn is non-superwash. I'm assuming you know what that means, but it's not treated in a way that makes it machine washable. To make superwash yarn, they chemically remove the scales from the fibers and then they coat it in polymer to make it so that it won't felt if you wash it or if it experiences high heat. But beyond non-superwash yarn, I source all of my wool from farms where we know what sheep the wool came from. So it's generally breed specific. It's not just going to say wool, it'll say the breed of sheep. So all of my yarn bases except for one are, the wool is sourced from the United States and milled here as well. I do have one base that I buy internationally, but I will probably change that in the not too distant future. Generally, with the bags I sell, there's going to be a handmade element outside of just me sewing them. So that means either I dyed the fabric, or I wove the fabric on a loom, or I quilted pieces of fabric together and then sewed that into the bag. So that's the type of stuff I like to do. And they're not always just straight up and down project bags for knitters. I really like making kind of multi-use, multi-purpose bags that can definitely be used for knitters. I really enjoy it. So I will briefly go over each of the bases that are currently in my shop. I do intend to do a video that goes into more detail with each of the bases that I carry, but for right now, I'm just going to tell you what they are and what their general properties are. But I do have items made from each of the bases that I can show you in real time. So those will be separate videos that will be more detailed. So this is my one and only base that I source internationally. This is BFL DK. BFL stands for Blue-Faced Leicester. That's the breed of sheep. So it's 100% Blue-Faced Leicester wool, and it's DK weight. It's 4-ply. It's very like silky and soft. But I will say it gets scruffed up because it seems like it's spun pretty loosely. So after you knit it up into an object and you start wearing it, it gets scruffed up and it pills pretty quickly, but it's a crowd favorite. Everybody loves this base, but I think I will probably not carry it in the future. At some point, I will announce when that happens, just because I really want to focus on 100% domestic wool and milling. But this is a great base. So the next couple of bases, I have some in the shop, but unfortunately the mill closed last year. I was relying pretty heavily on them, and I was about to make orders of more bases from them, and I like the way that these yarns perform and what they do for people, but unfortunately they're gone. They're going away. So this is, so I will say these bases were designed for dyers, and they were designed to have a high twist structure. So this one is 100% merino, and it's high twist, and it's DK weight. I haven't really had this in my shop very much. A couple years ago, I did a winter countdown calendar, and this was one of the base options. And then with the rest of it, I dyed up all of it, and there's a few skeins left in the shop. So what is in the shop right now of the high twist merino DK, that's all I have, which is a total bummer because I was about to make a big order of this, but I will find a replacement that's comparable and even more things that are even better. So yeah, this is a really nice, like super bouncy because of the high twist. It's merino, so you know it's soft. It's not going to prickle you. So if you're a pretty princess, this is a good one for you. These other two are milled exactly the same. One is 100% merino wool. One is 85% merino and 15% tencel. Tencel is a fiber that comes from eucalyptus pulp, and it's a really eco-friendly cellulose fiber because of the way that they manufacture it. There's basically no waste. So these were meant to be for natural sock yarns. That's what they were designed for at the mill. So they are, they have a high twist. They're both 3-ply. The twist makes it super bouncy, and yet really durable because it has all of that strength twisted into it. But it's merino, so it's soft, same as the DK weight. I have lots of socks out of both of them, and they're great. I think I have, I don't have as much of the merino tencel in the shop. But, and I only have a few skeins, I think, left to dye. So once that's gone, it's gone. The DK is, what's up is up. That's it. That's all there is. I have a few more that I can dye of the merino tencel, and then that'll be done. And for the 100% merino, the high twist merino sock, I actually have quite a lot. So after my next update, which will be all bags, I'll be working on dyeing up everything that I have left of the yarn that I have from EcoView Mill. And that'll all go up, and that'll just be the end of those bases, which is super sad because I love them a lot. But we're going to move on to bigger and better things. That's the way things go. So I have a few bases that I get from my favorite shearer on earth, Siri of Yankee Rock Farm. She's in Vermont, and I have actually some wool from her own flock of Border Leicester sheep. These, I didn't have a ton of this, but what I did have, I dyed up into some really nice, moody, dusty pastels. So I had some naturally gray Border Leicester that totally sold out. I love a naturally colored yarn a lot. And then the white is what I dyed up into the moody pastels. So this is the Border Leicester from Siri's own flock, and it's really special. Just I love having wool from sheep that, like, I know who raised them, and she trimmed the wool herself. So there's only a few of these left in the shop, but they're really special, and it's a DK weight, and it should work with other DK weights that I have in the shop. Specifically, I have Columbia. So this is Columbia in the DK weight, and this is Columbia in a worsted weight. So you can see these were both milled at the same place. which is Bat and Kill. So they're comparable. If you want to use the Columbia and the Border Leicester in the same project, I think that would be totally doable. There's the wool is different, but I really like it. That I have yet to knit a project out of this, but I have done swatches and it's really nice and bouncy, and I don't think it really has any kind of prickle. It's not going to be your baby's ass butter smooth kitten tummy yarn like merino, but it has structure to it, but it's not prickly, and I really like it. So this is the Columbia and the DK weight. And the Columbia and the worsted weight, you can see the DK weight in both the Border Leicester and the Columbia are 2-ply, and the worsted is 3-ply. So yeah, this one too is just so nice, and I have quite a bit of it still to dye up. And I am working with Siri on sourcing more wool since she is a shearer. She has access to wool from farms around the US, mostly in New England since that's where she's based, but I love getting to know new breeds. I love knowing which farm the wool comes from. The Columbia for both of the DK and the worsted came from the same flock, and we had it milled up as I did, but that was shorn from sheep that are raised for meat. So the wool is generally just discarded or used for some kind of agricultural purpose, or like insulating material, or for like composting or mulch in your garden. So we kind of rescued that. So I am working with Siri to find more wool from more farms and more breeds, and we are brainstorming on how to best turn those wools into yarns for you. So I'm excited about that. You're going to see more. And these next ones come from a mill in Michigan, in Frankenmuth, Michigan, called Zeilinger. So that's a family-owned mill. I love working with them. Everything that they mill is woolen spun. So if you don't know the difference between woolen spun and worsted spun yarns are combed straight before they're twisted. And woolen spun, the fibers aren't combed, so they're just in whatever orientation they are before they're spun. So you get a little bit of a chaotic situation, but it kind of means that there's more air in the strand of yarn, and they're not all whatever, you get it. So this base here is BFL mohair. BFL again is blue-faced Leicester, and mohair comes from mohair goats. So this is 70% BFL and 30% mohair. And this base is so cool. At first touch, it feels quite coarse, and like it wouldn't be suitable for next to skin, but I have several sweaters out of it, and I can tell you, if you're not a pretty princess about the yarn that you use being next to skin, this blooms up so beautifully. I think because of the mohair content, it doesn't really have much spring to it. It's pretty rigid, like differently from like the high twist merino, which is super bouncy. This is it doesn't have as much bounce, but after you knit it up, it blooms and fluffs up really nice, and I enjoy it quite a lot. And I've been able to get this base a couple times from that mill, so it's sticking around. And this is my only single ply base for right now. So we kind of we were just talking about, I wanted a single ply fingering weight yarn, and I wanted it to be It's obviously going to be woolen spun, so it's going to have more of a rustic texture than the smooth combed out worsted spun yarns. But this I call rustic luxe single ply. So it's rustic because it's woolen spun, not because it's like gonna scratch your face off. I think it's quite soft. So this is Targhee and Romney wool, and then it has Suri alpaca and silk in it. So it has a really nice slight sheen to it from those fibers, and they really soften it and give it drape. So I like this a lot. I have some in my cabinet here to make a sweater out of once I get to it. I have 85,000 projects on the go, but okay, single ply is a little bit divisive. If you're not a total crab about using single ply, this is a good one, I'm telling you. And I have quite a lot of it still today. And this is another crowd favorite. This is Rambouillet Sport. So this is a 2-ply sport weight Rambouillet wool. It's as soft as merino, but it's got that airy, fluffy texture from the woolen spun nature. And we just love it. I've had several designers really, really show interest in designing, knitwear designers making patterns in it. There are several of them, which I will do another video of all of my knitwear design collaborations, but this is a great one. You can knit it at a looser gauge so that it acts more like a DK weight. I've had it knit up in a tighter gauge, so it makes kind of a more dense fabric that's like nice and has structure to it. Honestly, if you haven't tried this Rambouillet Sport yarn, you're missing out. You're really going to enjoy it. So that's everything that I have in the shop right now, yarn-wise. So as I'm dyeing different colorways, sometimes I kind of just come up with a color and I want to make it, and then I do, and then that's that. And sometimes I make collections around a theme. So I have a holiday and Christmas collection that has changed throughout the years. Things have been added, things have been taken out. I also have a Halloween collection that's the same way. They're living not documents, but they're living collections that I change when I want to, and I keep them the same if I want to. And then I also have a collection of dusty pastels that I mentioned earlier. I think there's, maybe 13 colorways in that category. So they're pastels that are like more earthy. They're not gonna be Easter egg, I don't know, like super saccharine pastels, because those just don't really fit my style. But if you give me a really muddy pink, we can talk. So I also have a simplicity collection that I made. I wanted it to be inspired by basically just looking out your backyard and what you might see. So there's 5 colorways in that collection. They all have a really barely bare base coat and then coordinating speckles that really, they're understated. So the entire thing is kind of, when you zoom out, it is almost like a tweed effect. They're kind of all over, but they're sparse. I really love that. And they're also not terribly saccharine sweet colors. And a couple of years ago, I made a forest kaleidoscope collection. So this was 14 colorways, 7 of them are really more saturated, densely speckled colors. So for the other 7 colorways, there's some nice gentle speckles in the same colorways as the more saturated ones. So they're kind of dyads. They go together like that. The idea behind all of the Forest Kaleidoscope colorways was that you think of the forest as being largely browns and greens and dark colors. There's blacks in there, maybe a bit of white and yellow here and there, but I made collections of images that were situated around a main color, but when you look at all of them together, there's a ton of color within each collection of a tone. So, for example, in the red colorway, there is, orangey reds and burgundy reds and bright neon reds and blood reds. And then, of course, there's greens and yellows, and there's some browns, because all of these things are coming from the forest and in nature. So that was the inspiration behind all of the colorways and the inspiration photos that I used. So that collection was fun for me to create. As I mentioned before, I've done several collaborations with knitwear designers, so I have a bunch of those. So I'll make another video that is a compilation of all of the knitwear designers and their patterns and the yarns that they've used, so you can see what's been used over the years and what's been highlighted and given a spotlight. I also have some monthly yarns that I've done. Recently, in the last 6 months or so, I've done the Curio Collective. I wanted to find a theme of something creepy, something that makes you uneasy, and dye something around that theme. And in the past, I have done a divination club. So I found some kind of, I found a theme and I dyed colors around it. So those are in the past. Some of them I can recreate because I actually wrote stuff down, and some of them I absolutely cannot because I absolutely did not write anything down. And I don't know if I will continue doing things like a monthly themed collection. They can be a lot of work for not a whole lot of payoff, so that's why you might see it come and go. Inspiration strikes and the payoff sometimes just doesn't match. So I mentioned bags that I make. The next shop update that I will have will be entirely bags. Right now, the only bags that are in the shop are these large project bags. I would say they're for like a pretty larger sweater size. You'd have to see the listing for the exact dimensions of everything, but this is fabric that I did tie-dye. They're a nice canvas fabric, and then they have, this one has some alpaca or llama fabric. It has a zipper pocket on the inside. It has some flat pockets on the other side. And let me tell you, this is the perfect size for folding your pattern, your paper pattern. Fold it in half twice. It fits in here perfectly. This is oh wait, not there. This is a little spot to keep your pen or your pencil. And then your phone will fit in this too if you want to use this as a tote bag to carry stuff around. So there's 5 of these left in the shop. So those are there, and I'll show you what is going to be in the shop next for the bags. but I will do a very detailed bag post, but I'll show you what I have right now to show you. So these are a pattern by Noodlehead, which I'm a total fangirl of. You'll see several more Noodlehead patterns. This is hand woven fabric made by me, and this colorway is Cookie Exchange. It's one of my holiday colorways. So it has a little tab here to grab onto while you're zipping. I've got a little leather thingy here, metal zipper, and then some really nice black fabric on the inside with my little tag. So they're a nice size. They're like a pencil case maybe, or a makeup bag, or whatever. But this is the handmade portion of it. It was hand woven fabric, so I love them. And this is the Malmo pouch by Sotak. SOTAK is the pattern maker. So I ice dyed this fabric here. I still need to put a button on it, but that'll be finished. So it folds over. It's got this little handle here, which I love. It has a zipper pocket on the back. It's lined. And then it has this same fabric lining the inside. So this is like a nice one skein bag if you're going somewhere and you want to bring a sock project and you want to have this hanging from your arm while you're knitting and just hanging out. This is going to be really great. I think I made 8 or 10 of these, something like that. And then this is in progress, you can see, but these are a Noodlehead pattern. These are the Sand Hill Sling. It's a crossbody backpack. So I have one of these and I use it every day as like my purse, basically. So it has a zipper pocket on the outside. It's where I keep my phone and my keys. And then it opens like a backpack on the inside, and it has an elasticy pocket on the inside, and then it has, okay, imagine if you will, pretend this is put together. It has this to go across your body like that to wear it. So the special thing about these is that this fabric here on the outside of the pocket is vintage wool fabric. I bought it from a vendor at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, which is colloquially named Rhinebeck because it's in Rhinebeck, New York. So I got a couple different patterns of this vintage wool fabric. So I really wanted to showcase it. I didn't want it to just be, I don't know, I love it. I love it. So these are going to be so cool. You'll see more of these, but obviously I still need to finish them. There will be 16 of these. It's a lot. And then I'm making fanny packs. This one is going to take me a little bit of work. This was my prototype that I made to see how the pattern knit up. So it has a zipper pocket on the front. It has flat pockets on the back. It has an adjustable waistband. You can also wear it as a crossbody thing if you want it on your front or your back or on your tummy or on your butt. And so I'm going to change the way it's constructed a little bit, but these will be coming too. Okay, fanny packs are back. I don't care if anybody else agrees I'm bringing them back. Those are the 4 types of bags that will be in the next shop update, but I will make an entire video about that. Okay, if you stuck around through all of the overview of what my shop is and what I sell, hi. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm Larissa. What's up? I'm the owner and dyer and sewist and head bitch in charge at Forest Lane Fiber Co. It's called Forest Lane because I live in the middle of 5 acres of forest. There's some trees right there. We built our house and we moved in last year. We're gonna be here until we're dead. Uh, and we have like a really long driveway situation that we have given the name Forest Lane. So that's why it's called that. I have a husband. He's a physician, which is cool, but I'm 3 days older, so that's cooler. And I have two boys. They are 4 and 7 years old, so they're little and they're insane. And I have three cats. They're very good and I love them. That's all. So, about what I can do fiber arts wise, I'm a knitter. I can crochet, but I kind of never do. I'm a sewist. I'm pretty into making my own clothes lately. I have a sock machine. It's right here. You probably can't see it, but listen. So you'll see more sock machine videos. I absolutely love it. It's an Erlbacher Gearhart Speedster if you're interested. I am newly a weaver. I have a rigid heddle loom right here, and I love it. I've been making so many things and we're obsessed, okay? I like cooking. I'm good at it. I haven't been doing it as much in the last several years because children are a lot. The pandemic was a lot. Finding time to do things is a lot. Taking care of a house and all of these people and cats and everything and everything and everything and everything is a lot. But I like cooking. And I have to be gluten free because I have a skin thing. I don't really super duper want to break out into red itchy blisters. So I don't eat gluten. So you'll see some gluten free baking from me probably. I'm up to that. I'm a CrossFitter. I started doing that like 10 years ago. I did it for a little while and then I had kids. And now I'm back at it. I've been back doing it for another couple of years. So that's what I'm up to. I want to be strong. I don't want to be a fall risk when I'm old. I want dense bones. I need it for the upstairs, getting that situated correctly. I like doing a lot of gardening, I guess you would say, veggie gardening and permaculture kind of stuff. I intend to make some videos on how I'm transforming this, the vacant lot that you have when you build a new house. Just trying to turn it into an oasis, basically. So that's basically who I am in a nutshell. I like coffee too. So that's it. If you want stuff about what I'm doing coming directly to you, make sure to sign up for my mailing list. I don't like spam you. I just tell you like what I posted and if there's stuff for sale. If you do want to buy stuff, you can sign up for the mailing list and you'll be sent a code for free shipping. So save that if you're going to make a smaller order because I do also have free shipping discounts on US orders over $100 or international orders over $250. So if you are underneath those thresholds, just use your free shipping code after you sign up for the mailing list. I also have sweater quantity discounts. So on everything from a sport weight and heavier in the yarn, you should be able to find a sweater quantity discount in the description of each listing. So all you have to do is enter that at checkout. It doesn't matter how many different colorways you have. So check out the shop. I've got a blog on there. Check out my newsletter after you sign up for it. Check out my Instagram. Check out my Pinterest pages. And I have a coffee link, Ko-Fi, if you want to shoot me a tip. I do put out some free content, so you can tip me if you want to support that. Well, okay, that's about it. I've updated you about what is in the shop, who I am, and what I do. So have a nice day. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if this was cool. And if you like stuff and making stuff and other stuff. Hey, bye.